Give him a missile key.
Under arrest on the charge of mutiny.
I got an idea for a movie.
Doesn't everybody?
It was a career and a life of soaring Hollywood highs.
I'm honored and proud to be this year's recipient of the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
But it would end here, far away from the fans and the fanfare, in this quiet corner of New Mexico.
The beauty of the nature is almost like the architecture of this town. It's pretty real.
One of the silver screen's most famous faces, Gene Hackman, retired here to Santa Fe for a new life of peace and privacy.
That's really what attracted him to it. Being out in the wild as opposed to being in Hollywood, having to get dressed up all the time.
Yeah, I don't know how long he had an interest in being a painter and sculptor, but it certainly kicked in because he was literally at every class. You blink an eye and there's Gene.
Nobody went in the house, right? So we gotta figure out what's going on first.
Until tragedy, the actor and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, discovered dead in their sprawling desert home.
So you got here and saw that the door was open and saw her.
Devastating this tight community.
I would communicate with her pretty much on a weekly basis.
Everybody was puzzled and saddened.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it.
And shocking the world.
Officials believe Betsy died of the hantavirus, a very rare disease transmitted through rodent feces.
And as some questions are answered, many still remain.
I can tell you that he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's, and it's quite possible that he was not aware that she was deceased.
Especially now, knowing what happened, I mean, I would have gone to check up on them, you know?
The strange and mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife seem too bizarre to even be real. The kind of story that would play out on a cinema screen. And it was here in Hollywood where Hackman would make his name, cementing his status as a legend of the entertainment industry over 4 decades.
When you decide to do a role, you choose both the good and the bad that's happened to you, and you try to make that come alive.
I don't know anything about human nature. I don't know anything about curiosity.
What is your name? I didn't get that.
And the winner is Mr. Gene Hackman.
Versatility was Gene Hackman's great strength. He won Best Actor in 1972 for his role as Detective Popeye Doyle in The French Connection.
All right, Popeye's here. Get your hands on your heads. Get off the bar and get on the wall.
The film famous for that car chase.
They would go right down the street without any crowd control, and it was really scary.
His big break was Bonnie and Clyde in the late 60s.
Whoa! We're going to have ourselves a time, boy.
We surely are. Get the Kodak.
Hold it, hold it.
Hackman became a bona fide box office draw, from the Poseidon adventure
Just one more door and we're home.
to playing Superman's arch nemesis Lex Luthor.
And Lex Baby is the only one who knows where he is.
In 1993, he would win his second Oscar for his work in the Clint Eastwood western Unforgiven.
Shoot him down like the mangy scoundrel he is.
News of his death sent shockwaves through his former film family. From Clint Eastwood, there was no finer actor than Gene, intense and instinctive, never a false note. And at this year's Academy Awards, friend and co-star Morgan Freeman paid tribute.
Our community lost a giant, and I lost a dear friend.
And British royalty also among his fans, Prince William posting Hackman was a true genius of film. Gene Hackman's daughters and granddaughter saying he was loved and admired by millions around the world for his brilliant acting career, but to us, he was always just dad and grandpa. Gene married his second wife, Betsy Arakawa, in 1991. They met at the gym, and just over a decade later, the actor would decide to step back from the entertainment world.
It's probably all over.
So this is like the career ended on Larry King Live.
I want to make sure that my wife and my family are taken care of. Other than that, I don't have a lot of fear.
The couple choosing to move to Santa Fe, the capital city of New Mexico, but with a small town feel.
There is something about high desert. We're in 7,000 feet, and nobody realizes that when they come here and they get drunk out of one glass of wine.
Santa Fe has long been a magnet for artists because of the locals' free-spirited and laid-back approach to life.
You appreciate tiny things in here. All the flowers are tiny in the desert. All the plants are tiny. When it rains, everybody goes out and gets wet. I don't own an umbrella. If there is a sunset or a rainbow, everybody just pulls over and starts going, oh, and nobody starts cursing like in New York, like moo or whatever. Everybody respects that.
Nadrette Gerler is an artist who has lived in Santa Fe for decades.
But I used to be a rock climber, and I ski, and I'm a photographer. You can do a lot of things in one day and come home and change your clothes and put your high heels on, go to the opera.
And from all accounts, that is how Gene and Betsy felt when they arrived. Embraced by their new neighbours, Betsy opened a store as Gene swapped acting for writing, painting and sculpting.
And the paintings were all landscapes. That's really what attracted him to it, and the fact that he could walk outside of his house and be in the mountains and smell the trees. I think that was important for him. And he had his dogs. That was part of being out in the wild, if you will, as opposed to being in Hollywood, and having to get dressed up all the time. I don't think I ever saw him dressed up. It was jeans and a flannel shirt.
I found myself in a sculpture class, and there was Gene. And then I found myself in another class, and there he is again.
Ursula Bolomowski would pose for Gene in the 1990s, working closely with him over the course of a year.
Gene, for some reason, having seen me around town, asked if I would be a personal model while he was learning portrait painting.
To the locals, Gene wasn't a Hollywood superstar. He was one of them.
He really understood the common man, I think, in a way, and I think maybe that's what made him such a great actor.
I have never heard any negative comment about them in 32 years that I've been here.
But the couple became increasingly private. We now know Gene Hackman, a man so talented, razor smart and passionate about his craft, was slipping into the depths of Alzheimer's.
The sightings of Gene around town, they obviously stopped some time ago. That's how it goes, I suppose, when you reach a certain age and a certain point in one's... he lived a long and full life, that's for sure.
A worker at the property called police on February 26, and a subsequent welfare check confirmed the worst.
Do they appear to be awake or alert?
No, it's not.
Okay. Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving. Just send somebody out here really quick.
Nobody went in the house, right? Nobody went in? Nobody went in. No EMTs went in.
Gene Hackman's body was found on the floor of an entrance room at the back of the home. His wife's decomposing body in the bathroom near a fallen space heater and a spilled container of prescription medication.
There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing. There was no immediate sign of foul play. Haven't ruled that out yet. This is an investigation, so we're keeping everything on the table.
The couple had 3 dogs. 2 were alive, running around the property.
Do you want to come up here? Because I'm going to need help with the dogs.
One, an Australian Kelpie mix, was found dead in a crate near Betsy's body. Investigators were baffled.
It's not normal to find 2 people deceased in a residence. That's concerning. And then there was also a dog that was in a kennel that was also found deceased. Because of that, we called in the fire department, we called in P&M to go through the house, do some testing to figure out if it was even safe for our officers to go in and process the scene and execute the warrant.
Hackman's children from his first marriage initially told media they suspected carbon monoxide poisoning, but that was quickly ruled out.
Find gas or anything in there?
There was no initial detection, but we have windows open.
It wasn't until weeks later.
The cause of death for Miss Betsy Hackman, aged 65 years, is hantavirus pulmonary syndrome.
Now, it's not common, but you feel like you may have the flu. You have fever, chills, maybe a headache, muscle aches. It's very prevalent in the Four Corners area, so New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona are hotspots. And it may be something to do with the deer mice and the ecology and the rural areas of the country that bring these mouse and human encounters closer together.
Now, questions over what happens to the actor's $125 million estate. Gene Hackman left his entire fortune to his wife, and in the eyes of the law, his will could be void because she died first, meaning the 95-year-old's adult children will need to go to court if they want the money. For now, the town where Gene and Betsy spent their final decades is quietly remembering the couple who chose the peaceful life over the fast lane and were together until the end.
Light a candle, do your prayer in your own ways, and look at the sunset as you think of them. Just to honor who they are, who they were, what they did for this community.
Top of the world, Mom. Top of the world.
I've loved every minute of my career. There's been, tough times, of course, but I like the process so much.